We start the day's other headlines with the latest on the apparent assassination attempt of Donald Trump at his golf course earlier this month. Prosecutors said today that the suspect, Ryan Routh, had engaged in a premeditated plot to kill the former president. They say the 58-year-old left behind a pre-written note that he addressed to the world, appearing to say he may not succeed in killing Trump and offering a reward to anyone willing to, quote, complete the job. Routh appeared at a West Palm Beach courthouse today. He'll remain in jail awaiting trial on 2 gun-related charges. Prosecutors will seek a more serious charge of attempted assassination of a major political candidate. The Biden administration is proposing a ban on Chinese software and hardware in autonomous vehicles operating on U.S. roads. The Commerce Department cites national security concerns for the move and says Russian technology would also be prohibited. Under the proposal, the software would be banned from vehicles starting with model year 2027 and hardware in 2030. The move comes after a similar ban on communications equipment from Huawei in 2022 and amid a push by U.S. lawmakers to ban TikTok if its Chinese owners don't sell their stake. Officials in Alabama are urging members of the public to come forward with any information related to a weekend mass shooting in Birmingham. The search is still on for the gunman who opened fire outside a nightclub on Saturday night, killing 4 people and injuring 17 others. Police have described it as a targeted hit, but say that innocent bystanders were among those shot. Today, authorities said they're offering rewards totaling $100,000 for credible information that helps lead to an arrest or conviction.
We cannot give safe harbor or shelter to people who want to just simply kill people. We can't give them cover. They should not feel safe in our community. They should not feel safe anywhere.
Saturday's shooting was the city's 3rd quadruple homicide of the year. In fact, according to an Associated Press database that tracks shootings, 3 of the nation's 31 mass killings this year have taken place in Birmingham. Murder and other violent crime dropped across the nation last year. That's according to an annual report from the FBI. Overall, violent crime fell by an estimated 3% compared to 2022. Murders and manslaughter dropped nearly 12%, and reports of rape fell more than 9%. However, reports of hate crimes rose last year by 2%. Public safety has been a central issue in this year's presidential race, with the Republican ticket claiming, despite evidence to the contrary, that crime is out of control under the Biden administration. 2 Russians and 1 American returned from the International Space Station today, ending a record-breaking stay for the Russians.
Touchdown.
Their capsule landed in a cloud of dust in Kazakhstan about 3.5 hours after it undocked from the station. Oleg Kononenko and Nikolai Chubb were aboard the ISS for 374 days, a new record for the longest continuous stay. American astronaut Tracy Dyson was there for 6 months. 8 astronauts are still on board, including Butch Wilmore and Sonny Williams. Those Americans won't return until next year following tech problems with Boeing's Starliner. 2 new reports on the state of book banning in America paint a mixed picture of the practice as the annual Banned Books Week begins nationwide. The American Library Association reported 414 complaints in the first 8 months of 2024. That's compared to 695 challenges over the same period last year. In the meantime, data from PEN America shows the number of books actually being pulled from shelves tripled over the previous year to more than 10,000. Experts say the 2 surveys don't necessarily contradict each other, and taken together, they point to an ongoing surge in book bans in recent years. And on Wall Street, small gains across the board helped build on recent record highs. The Dow Jones Industrial Average added around 60 points, well above that 42,000-point level. The Nasdaq added about 25 points on the day, and the S&P 500 tacked on 16 points to close at a new record. Still to come on the News Hour, our Politics Monday team breaks down the latest from the campaign trail. California sues ExxonMobil over allegedly deceiving the public about recycling plastics. And Judy Woodruff discusses the election with voters from across the political spectrum in Wisconsin.
This is the PBS NewsHour from the David M. Rubenstein Studio at WETA in Washington, and in the West from the Walter Cronkite School of Journalism at Arizona State University.